through whatever. Like, and I wonder, like, what is your critique? Because I think like the right-wing misogyny thing has been explored. I mean, we all know that there's
Mhm.
some kind of like mommy longhouse resentment thing going on. But when it comes to left-wing misogyny and woman hatred, what do you think of like the male feminist, the certain form of trans spectrum that wants to obliterate the being of woman? That,
Yeah.
I mean, I could just be making too much of it. Maybe I'm just, but
No, I,
yeah.
I agree with you. I think that basically, whatever you want to say about right-wing misogyny, and some of it is like abhorrent,
Oh yeah, yeah,
at least, right, there's a way in which women exist and women are different,
yeah,
and like they might be bad and different, but at least they're like being there. Like they have a
yeah,
real power in the universe. They have a reality. They, have their own nature and whatnot, right? Like the right-wing man understands that women exist, right?
yeah, yeah.
Psychoanalytically,
And we
you
hate
know,
that.
and they may hate it, but at least
Yeah,
they acknowledge it's true, right?
right.
Whereas I agree with you. I think the underlying tendency of the left-wing male position or left-wing politics in general, actually, and you get this in Marxism too, where it's like it's like, oh, we're all comrades, and women comrades are basically good when they're like men,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
you have it actually as a constitutive feature of some aspects of left-wing politics. But I think in the last sort of 5-10 years in particular, we have seen that I mean, I think a lot of women are really shocked, actually, like women who grew up thinking they were left-wing or socialist
yeah.
or left liberal even or
Radfem.
centrist, yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
a variety of positions on a spectrum, but all of which are basically, well-meaning lefty socialist, have realized, in fact, precisely that the solidarity that they thought they had with their male fellow
yeah,
socialist lefties is not only not there, but it's actually like the levels of like women hating misogyny, like you say, that tend towards the obliteration of women as a
yeah,
category, or even on a political level, taking anything that women say seriously, no matter how rational and reasonable and calm they are. And I don't think it's a surprise that basically the women in the UK, at least, who've been attacked the most are people who are trained in law,
yeah,
women who are trained in philosophy. These are women who basically have achieved, a high position in historically male subjects, and they're very good at them, so they know how to
yeah.
put forward arguments. And those are the women who are being like absolutely savaged and accused of being Nazis and side on,
Yeah,
and
my
it's
good
like,
friend Mary Harrington, for instance. Yeah,
right. I mean,
yeah,
it's absolutely like crazy. And so I think for a lot of women, they're now completely politically homeless, and they realized
yeah,
that these men who claim they were feminists are actually nothing remotely approaching that, whatever you want to mean by that word. But they're actually like deep misogynists who only like women insofar as they agree with men. And I think even
yeah.
just at the level of representational politics, it's the Conservative Party that has had multiple female leaders, and there's never been a single female Labour leader,
Yeah.
and none of these socialist groups have any respect for socialist women at all in practice or in history.
You were saying in your original book, One Dimensional Woman, you were talking about Sarah Palin and how like that became an
Mm.
easy shelling point for like left wing versions of misogyny. Like even nowadays, I think like I would caution though against like women. Like here's the thing: like the current landscape in the political right, the right, is like there's this weird conglomeration where like radfems will like hang around the margins of the online right, but like the online right hates them. They're like, you're feds, you're thirst traps, you're trying to like pollute young men, and they can't. And they're going to me, they're like, Geo, you're just, I don't know why you're friends with these people. They're feds, like, like they call my friend Catherine default fed, right? Like, like, but at the same time, there's almost like this begrudging, like, not acceptance, but there's like this begrudging, like, oh, I hate them, but they're still, like, there's this begrudging, like, tension between the rad femme and the far right Twitter poster,
Mhm.
where it's like, because these women are politically homeless, and they're like, well, I guess like these right wing people have interesting ideas, but then I would say that like there is an element where maybe that it wouldn't be such a good thing if like these women, like, the conservative gun girl thing is like, I think that's like a particular form of like, male desire, like, the Fox News woman. But at the same time, I think that there is no other option for a lot of these women in terms of being politically outright homeless, because there's this thing where the rad femme will say something that totally enrages the right-wing poster. Like, oh my god, they all like quote tweets. It's this huge war. But then after a while, it's like when it comes to the enemy of the left, it's like, well, I guess they agree with us somewhat. It's like there's this weird like sort of tension going on there. I don't know if that's like good or not, but like I certainly feel it. Like as much as we hate the radfems and we say that, you know, their ideological project is damaging to us, it's like there's still like this weird like, you know, attraction there. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details of these sort of strange encounters, but yeah, I mean, I can kind of imagine, and because in some ways it's like, well, we both agree that men and women exist, right? Like that's the opening line of my book. It's like men and women exist, and even that was controversial, by the way. I had to fight to keep that in, like, you know, as it was. So it's like, okay, well, like axiom 1, men and women exist. Like, okay. I mean, of course, this could go in like a variety of different directions, but yeah, I don't know. And of course, you know, some of the radfem generalizations about men are just like, you know,
terribly unproductive. Yeah.
They're kind of inexcusable, right? Like it's not helpful. It's not true, you know, to say that all men are or whatever, or like whatever kind of version of that, or, you know, it's you know, it's taking statistics and kind of like twisting them, and no one should be doing that, right? Like I think, you know, we need to face reality as it is as much as we can, right? While also being like high and deranged half the time as well. But you know, like if we agree on certain things, but you know, and obviously like most radfems, like proper radfems, are not going to be interested in like trad marriage, right? A lot of them will be unmarried or in lesbian relationships, or have, you know, explicitly decided that they're not having a relationship with men for whatever reason. So yeah, I mean, there are going to be like huge contradictions and like, but
some of them do have like children and husbands. Yeah, that's really
And I think, well, you have this strange thing in the UK, especially like lots of women who are on Mumsnet, you know, who are talking about their kids, like they all got radicalized, you know, for good reason, because, you know, especially if you have this relation to your own biology and you want to protect your kids, and these are all like completely normal things that the vast majority of people feel.